Being in pain sucks. I've been there. I've had an intense rock climbing accident that destroyed my hips, destroyed my arm. I spent 4 months or so bedridden. I had to relearn how to walk. I had to rebuild my own body. The medical system gave me a diagnosis that I would not be strong, I would not be fit, and more than likely would be riddled with pain the rest of my life. So I understand pain sucks. Mental health sucks. Having high anxiety, having depression, having neurological issues, having any sort of symptom that you have or condition that you've been labeled on by a medical professional or by a specialized professional in the field sucks, especially if you don't have the answers to try and combat them. And so this is why I'm creating this channel. I'm Richard Aceves. I have had 6 major surgeries in my life. Rebuilt my hip. I have had my ulna replaced twice. I have gone through a shit ton of pain, and I know what it's like to see this insanity, repetitiveness of chronic pain. I have spent the last 18 years of my life searching for answers and, more importantly, connecting how the body cannot be fragmented into just pure physical issues, pure mental issues, pure emotional issues, neurological issues. The body is a beautiful ecosystem, and that is what my specialty is. I get tired of these people keep telling me to go into a niche, to only focus on back pain, to only focus on mental health, to only focus on high-end entrepreneurs and high performers, to only focus on people with depression. For me, a human is a human. I'm a human specialist, and I like to work with people that want to, A, understand more about their body, and B, are willing to put in the work. So that's why I created this channel. If that sounds like you, please subscribe now. And leave me a comment letting me know how I can best help you, and I can make some videos on it. But essentially what I have done in the last 18 years is I've realized the value of a good coach, and I've realized the power of the good coach, the proper mentor, being able to connect physical intensity, to be able to empathize and sympathize with the client in front of them, and to be able to give them the tough love that they need in order to push to get what they deserve. So through the following weeks, months, years, I'm going to be unraveling my entire system in this channel. And the goal is to just inform as many people as possible, to help redefine the fitness industry and the power and the value that personal trainers and coaches have if they put in the work to build their knowledge base and to be able to build their understanding, rather than just regurgitate information and learn how to sell more online programs. So I understand that all of that is part of what we need to do in order to survive as health professionals, but there's so much depth into it. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this channel, guys. A little bit of history on me. I was in a rock climbing accident in Pico de Orizaba when I was 18 years. I'll probably do a video going much more in depth on that and my whole experience and recovery. I was at 5,000 meters of altitude. My hip was broken into about 30 pieces. I'll have the x-rays you guys can look at. I don't know why I pointed there. I'm still new to this thing. It's my first video. Give me a break. My ulna was completely dislocated, was pulverized. I had my full hand was fractured and broken. I was evacuated. I was slid down the mountain. I spent about 14-ish hours on the mountain, got sent to the emergency room, had a few emergency procedures. They weren't sure if I was going to live, not because of the breaks in my hip, but more so just the internal bleeding that I had and the liquid in the lungs. And so I made it. I'm here. I spent 4.5 months in bed trying to visualize what my future would look like, trying to think of what I would be able to and not be able to do. And in my head, it was clear to me that I was going to be lifting again, to be climbing again, to be doing the things that I love to do, to be active and extreme. Doctors had a slightly different perspective. They thought that I'd be very sedentary. They thought that I would be in pain. They warned me to never lift heavy weights again. They warned me to not go do crazy shit again. And that's understandable, right? When we look at insurance and liability, you don't want to give false hopes, and you don't want to push somebody to do crazy shit, because if it backfires, there's assholes people out there that would blame the medical system. So some people blame the medical system for not doing enough. Other people blame the medical system for trying too hard. There's no fucking winning anymore. So I took myself through my own recovery and taught myself to walk, put myself into the pool, and started to lift again. I think it was maybe 5 or 6 months after that. I was deadlifting 405 pounds, 185 kilos. And mind you, maybe I shouldn't have moved that fast. My ulna still hadn't glued back together, so I had to go get another ulna replacement. But I kept pushing through. I found my solutions through trial and error based on my own experiences. And as a coach, as a trainer, as an athlete, I always trained and coached very intuitively. I would get the guidelines or the principles that I was being taught by CrossFit, by ACE personal training certification, by what you would read on blogs online and YouTube videos. But in reality, there was a lot of trial and error on my part, especially in the early days. And yeah, in 2009, I opened up my own CrossFit gym. And I remember sending in the letter saying, hey, I want to help revolutionize the fitness industry, just like CrossFit has revolutionized the fitness and health industry. And that is why we're here today. So with that being said, I built a successful CrossFit gym. I was extremely athletic. I had a FU moment to prove to the doctors that said I wouldn't lift heavy or do much physically. And 5 years down the road, I'm having recurring injuries left and right. And I went to go see the top physiotherapist, the top massage therapist in Southern California. And there wasn't much that they would offer me. They would offer short-term solutions. They would give me, ART release therapy on my shoulder and my supraspinatus. They would crack my back. They would do the dry needling. We would do cupping. We've tried everything, all the different machines, and it would be great for the first couple weeks. I would love it. I would feel great. But then the pain would start to come back. So I would start to foam roll more. I would start to smash. I would start to stretch longer. I would take longer to get to my actual training part of my day. And I started to realize that I just needed somebody who could understand how I was moving and what I needed to change. And I couldn't do that on my own because I did not at the time have the coaching eye for it. So that's when I met a guy named Julian Pineau, and he said, your lat's not working, and that's why your shoulder keeps bonking out, and your glutes aren't really firing, especially on the left side. So that's why you keep throwing out your back when you're deadlifting. And we focused on that solely. I went home, I looked for every exercise that I could come across the internet and on books, and tried to figure out how I could get my lat to fire. And that opened up my eye in understanding that the exercise is the byproduct. It's such a simple sentence, but it holds so much power, because everything that we coach and that we do is objectively driven, meaning the exercise is going to give us the result. The range of motion is going to give us the result. The treatment, the ayahuasca, the cognitive therapy, the ice bath, the sauna is going to give us the result. And this is where I see that so many people fail in having true change or true understanding of what's happening. And that's because it's not the treatment itself. It's not the exercise itself. It's what you're doing in that exercise and how you're doing that exercise. So as simple as a lat pull down should develop my lats, right? If you guys don't know what lats are, that's that back muscle over here. But in reality, there's 10,000 different ways to do that lat exercise. So how one person is coaching it, or how the physio or exercise science and NASM or anywhere else starts to say that the perfect lat dorsal exercise works like this, isn't necessarily true for somebody else. Because we need to understand how the muscles are put together, and more importantly, we need to understand the person is the one that needs to connect to that muscle. If we can connect to that muscle, we can learn the skill to do the lat dorsal or the lat pull down. But we need to be able to connect to the lat dorsal, or we need to be able to connect to the glutes, or we need to be able to connect to ourselves in order to get a powerful understanding of how to change after an ayahuasca treatment. Again, I bounce around a lot because I don't fragment the body to a pure physiological concept, a pure cognitive or psychological concept, or a pure environmental concept. We cannot fragment the body because it works together as one. The physical can help the mental can have an emotional expression, but if there's a missing piece somewhere along the way, what I have seen through my years of coaching, you're going to revert back to what's comfortable. You guys are starting to see this, and I called this back in 2018. The fitness industry is going to start to go more and more towards mental health and nervous system regulation. We're doing nervous system regulation through protocols and not taking the conscious and the emotional side into the physiological part. The sunrise is coming up right now, guys, and it is absolutely beautiful. So, anywho, the way that I help my clients is allowing them, understanding where they are, meeting them where they are, and forcing them to learn their lessons with giving them the right guidelines. And the reason I do that is because we need to build safety in our bodies again. That was what I learned, is I needed volume, I needed repetitions done 50,000 different ways so that I could understand the thousands of ways not to do something and the right way to do it for me with the right guidelines. And that's what I do for my clients. They need to learn how to do it for themselves. What that does is it forces people to be physically, mentally, and emotionally present to learn their lesson. Now, this sounds like a whole lot and it sounds overwhelming. Again, this is why I'm starting the YouTube channel. I'm going to break down a lot of these concepts into 10, 15, 20-minute videos so you can really try to digest as much as possible. So I'm gonna stop it there because I feel like I've ranted enough, and hopefully this gets views and I get followers and we can build a really cool channel. If not, I'm still gonna keep doing this for the few that are following and want to learn more. I'd love to learn a little bit more about you, and I know the YouTube comments and YouTube followers are different than those of Instagram or Facebook, but please let me know down below what I can help you guys with, what you're searching for. Subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Remember, movement doesn't need to be complex, and exercise is the byproduct. And more importantly, you have to fucking enjoy life. Look at this right here. Hopefully you didn't get a crutch shot. Look at that. Oh, baby. I get to enjoy this now for a little bit before I go and tend to my kids. Love you guys. Have a good one.